Hi, this is James Garden, the Senior Tech Geek, and I'm here with Bruce Devlin from SMPTE. And today we're going to talk about how standards are the platform from which a lot of innovation comes from. Now that hasn't been, this year has been an exceptional year for showing that as is a complete fact, and the fact that the explosion in IP fabrics for TV stations and networks, and also other aspects in terms of how we're using the cloud, and there was
IMF.
IMF. That's right. IMF.
Yeah.
IMF. Agree. Totally. IMF has started like a total rush to the cloud for distribution, in my opinion. So, take us through how you see that happening this year at NAB.
Yeah, so there's a number of sort of formation platform standards that have been developed within SMPTE. Now, these are the 2110 standards, which are the transport over IP. They're the MXF and IMF standards, which is how you represent component media so that you can, break your workflows apart to improve your efficiency. There's a whole bunch of timing and connection standards that SMPTE's been working on. There's ultra high definition and HDR metadata that allows brand new ways of doing TV to go into the industry. Now, all of those standards themselves, they're boring.
Yeah, they are.
Sorry, they're tedious.
Yes.
Now, if you out there have trouble sleeping, just read some of these standards. They're pretty boring and dull. But when different companies build products that work together first time, you can innovate workflows, you can innovate ways of making TV, you can make high dynamic range stuff which you push down IP links and then end up as components inside a cloud database that you can then press transcode on and deliver it as a beautiful HLS stream. So these standards are absolutely key.
That's right.
To building at scale big systems that do new and novel and interesting things. So really the standards are the platform upon which all of this innovation can live, even though they're a bit boring.
That's right, but I'd like to push this forward into the topic of, SMPTE has been transitioning in its the way it looks and the way it feels.
Yeah.
Traditionally, a lot of the standards like sprocket holes and all those sort of things that went around film was very cogs and wheel based.
Yep.
Well, we're all digital now, and so is SMPTE. SMPTE's getting all digital, and now we're more like programmers and software.
Absolutely. Some of the things I've done as Standards Vice President is to introduce a software group that's looking at software issues. We've got GitHub accounts now. We've got repositories where sample code goes in and comes out again. But more importantly, we're trying to make the standards process agile. And we recognize that not everything has to be a standard. So we introduced things called technical specifications, which is like half a standard where you can field test something before moving it onto a full standard. We're trying to introduce some public review stages so that the work of the committee doesn't have to be sort of set in concrete before you build your first product. You get halfway through the process, you build some prototypes, you interact, and then once you've field tested this new idea that you've got in your standards process, you then get it out in the industry. So we're trying to iterate much faster, and we're trying to get to the point where SMPTE feels more dynamic. It feels like we're trying to respond to the needs of the industry, which is going at a faster pace than ever before.
That's right, and so let's just put that into some context for you. If you are a young software developer who wants to change the world based on some innovative and disruptive ideas that you've got, usually you have to build those standards on foundations of standards. And where do you go to do those standards?
You go to SMPTE to do those standards.
That's right. So what we're talking about here is if you've got any ideas like that or want to develop sort of innovative ideas which will change the world, these ideas will have to formalize themselves into some sort of standard, and this is the place to go to find out how to do it, or if anything at all, it's the place to go to investigate your ideas and how viable they are, because there are so many very smart people here. You can ask the most technical questions you could imagine, and you will get an answer.
You will get an answer. Everyone here has opinions, and
That's right.
Boy, do I know that.
So
but
yes.
We're here at NAB, and you walk around the halls, and you look at all these products and services, and every single one of them depends on at least one SMPTE standard.
Yes, that's true.
And it's amazing, and people just don't really understand the penetration that these standards and specifications and registered disclosure documents push across every single product and every demo that you're seeing. People think, oh, fancy green screen, but then you think, oh, what's the light levels? What's the signal that goes in and out of the camera? All those things are SMPTE standards.
That's right, and I also like to bring up, if you're just getting into SMPTE as well, they do have webcasts occasionally, which basically updates you on the latest standards and what they're doing. So that's a good place to jump in to see what's happening.
Absolutely.
But yes, anyway, I think that's a good story today. But anything else before I let you go?
Just make certain that you look at the various educational courses that SMPTE offers. Go and see a local chapter. Go and just get involved. The more people who get involved in SMPTE, the better their careers become, because you meet people who can accelerate what you do within the industry, and the bright people who are right at the top of the industry are always honoured to be a part of SMPTE. And I didn't know much about it when I was working in the UK, but when somebody introduced it to me, suddenly I accidentally became the standards vice president.
That's true.
And it's really important that we keep this industry under control within the industry, because, well, I just love what we do here.
That's right. And just finally, recognition, you see in the box behind us, I'll just quickly show it to you. This industry has a lot of recognition. Look at all those awards there, and that's how important it has been in the past. And I can tell you, it'll be very important in the future. And get involved. It's a really friendly place to be with, and a lot of I really like it mainly because I can talk on a level, my technical level. It's very hard to find people, especially where I come in Australia, where I can talk the talk that the technical. Things that we know. So if you've got people you want to know, you'd be able to talk those technical things you like to talk about. Another good place to come is to SMPTE.
Absolutely.
Thank you anyway. Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, James.
That's James Garden, the SMPTE Geek at NAB 2019. Bye for now.